I do not have a script for this. I do not have. Let me pause this music so I don't get banned. I do not have a script for this. I do not really have a plan of what I'm about to talk about. I do know that I wanted to talk about just manifestation, I guess, frequencies, thinking your goals into existence. And yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video. I want to be more active on this YouTube channel. I had a lot of thoughts today at work. I was just like, I told myself at the start of the year that I would be focused on uploading YouTube videos to this channel, talking just about my journey, about my life, and I've really fallen off that. I've been consistent on the Instagram, but the YouTube I've been lacking a lot, and I want to be better for that. I want to upload more on this YouTube. I want to share my journey more. I want to talk more about things that I know a lot about. So I'm gonna bring this mic close to me. I want to talk more about things I know a lot about because you know I do have a lot of good knowledge about things like just like frequencies, vibrations, talking things into existence. Just thinking positively, not thinking negatively about yourself. I've came a long way in that sense, and I feel like people could learn from me, learn from my story, learn from my journey, I guess. But I also just enjoyed making content. I enjoy talking about things like this because, quite frankly, I don't really have anyone in my personal life to talk to about this kind of stuff. So I feel like, the aspect of making content or videos about it kind of allows me to not only help other people, but it helps me because I can kind of reinforce what I've been thinking. So that's kind of my plan. I want to be a lot more consistent on this YouTube. My plan is to make one YouTube video a week, and then I will just be doing a lot of content on the Instagram. I got other stuff going on with my other business. I run an MMA page on Instagram, and that's been going really good. And I've just been focusing really on growing that a lot lately, and kind of straying away from, I wouldn't say straying away, but maybe less focused on the trading and my Ronnie Son account. And it's definitely shown, that the results have not been as good. I've been struggling in my trading lately. Even my back testing, like, just crashing out after losses. Even back testing, just because if I don't see my model play out, like, it's just so frustrating to me. I don't know, but anyways, that's something that I actually want to talk about. It's kind of just spiraling in thought, going through negative times, or times where the progress might not seem linear. The focus has to be on just putting yourself in your future shoes. What would the version of you who has everything you want be doing in a situation like that? How would he react through a period of bad trading, through a period of the business not doing well, through the period of just stuff like that? How would that future version of you react? And it's not only about times where you're spiraling or there's negative things coming into your life. It's 24/7. You have to live like that 24/7. You have to think like the person you're intending to be. And I know it might be hard to take this. I'm in my childhood home. I've made a little bit of money off the internet. Nothing crazy physically, but mentally, I have everything that I have dreamed of. I have everything that God has shown me that I'm capable of. God puts these visions, these aspirations, these goals in my head for a reason. I can see them very vividly for a reason because they're real. Okay, maybe I don't have them in the physical reality right now, but they are real. They are real in some realm, in some time frame. Right now it's the future, but like the fact that I'm able to see it so vividly, see it so clearly, that tells me and should tell you that it's real. If you have visions that you see very clearly that you think God put in your head for a reason, those are real visions. Okay, those are real. This is a real experience that you can be experiencing. And you just have to go all in on that shit. You really just have to put your best foot forward and just know in the back of your head, know in the front of your head too, just know in general that God put these dreams on your plate for a reason. He gave you this pressure for a reason. He gave you this struggle for a reason. He gave you these goals for a reason. And, if you do not visualize yourself with those things already, then you might as well just not even pursue them. Because if you're going to be pursuing something, whether it's, some people want materialistic things. What I want might be different to you. Whether you want something materialistic, I want to provide for my family. I want to make sure my mom and my dad never have to worry about money ever again. That's what, that's what I have. That's what I've been able to create. If you have something that you want and you don't already act like the version of yourself that has it, you might as well just kiss it goodbye, because you're not going to get it. It's as simple as that. You got to put yourself on that frequency. You got to think like that version of yourself. And like I said, it might be hard to take this from me when I'm sitting in, my childhood room. But this is just the reality of things. I've really looked into this stuff. I really have. And I have things to improve as well. I'll go through periods where, my mind might not be as focused on the things that are, the version of myself that has the things that I want. And, that's when I kind of notice myself, straying away from those goals and those visions that God has given me. So it's just really important to put yourself in the shoes of your future self. And that's really all I wanted to say here. I might have been rambling, but I really am passionate about this stuff. I really am passionate about what I do, and I know that I have it already. I know that it's in my life already. It's, a version of me has it right now. And, maybe not in this physical reality right now that I'm in, but there's a version of me down the line that has everything. And, that tells me that it's come, that I have it. And I find great comfort in that, because the Lord has blessed me just with this path. And I know through Him it'll never fail. I know that I have it. I know it'll never fail because I have God behind me. And everything is going exactly according to plan. And that gives me great comfort. And, if you guys are in a similar situation where you have big goals, you have big visions, and maybe things aren't going right, just have that faith. Have that faith in God. Have that just belief. Just belief that you're going to achieve it. And I promise you it'll come. I promise you it will. So that's really it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a tougher day mentally, and that's really why I kind of had, just the thought of getting back on YouTube, because I feel like there's so much that I could talk about. I feel like there's so much that people could learn from me. I went through a lot of stuff to get here, and I'm going to, be talking about that, more and more as I post more on the YouTube. But I went through a lot of shit to get here, dude, and I'm not even close to, being done, There's a lot of growth left, and, I'm just always pursuing that. But, shit, dude. It's been a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, like, just earlier on in life, too. Before I really even knew about, personal growth, personal development, before I really started going after goals that I had for myself, not for others. Before I really got into all this stuff, there was so much shit going on, and I would let it eat at me, and I would let it just, like topple on top of me, and there's a lot of people who don't know, that kind of side of my life. I felt like I kept it pretty private for the most part, or, a large chunk of it anyways. But, yeah, I will definitely be talking about that more. I just wanted to come on here and say that, you gotta see yourself in the position that you want to be in before you're there. And that's the only way that you're going to achieve it at the end of the day. You know, you got to be on that frequency before you are physically on that frequency. You know, you got to be mentally on that vibration so you can attract that frequency to you. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna stop it here. I'm really trying to upload on this channel more. Like I said, I want to focus on talking cleaner, you know, not using filler words like what I just did, you know, like um something that I definitely got to work on. Not use I just do it again. It's hard to stop. But yeah, not using filler words, so that's also why I want to get on this channel a lot more. But follow my Instagram, ronnieson.nq. I'll be posting a lot more stuff on there. Follow Frozen Fists on Instagram, on every social media. And yeah, dude, it's good to be back. Hope you guys enjoy.